WDRA accreditation requirement. What is WDRA? The status of WDRA as a regulatory body. Why should the warehouses be registered with WDRA? And then the advantages of registering the warehouse with WDRA. So, first of all, WDRA is a regulatory authority. It was established by an act in 2007, and it came into existence in 2010 and started its operation. The very core objective of the WDRA is to regulate warehousing. It's a regulatory body. Every commercial activity is actually regulated under a regulatory body. And so the warehousing sector was earlier not organized sector. There were a number of warehouses which were not complying with the construction norms, the quality. There were number of frauds in the warehousing, receipt financing kind of things. So a regulator was required in this industry as well. So warehousing industry got its regulator, that is WDRA. So main objective is promote scientific storage and facilitate liquidity in rural areas. So how this we will see in later stages that how it can help in scientific storage and facilitate liquidity in rural areas. How money will be infused in hands of farmers and poor people actually. So earlier physical receipts were there, paper based. Later on, the entire receipts, the entire operation shifted to online mode, and electronic negotiable warehouse receipts are being issued since 2019. What are the impacts of WDRA registration? It actually reduces post-harvest losses and enables farmers to access institutional credit easily. So this credit facility which the farmer gets against the stock stored in the warehouses and against the ENWR generated against those stored stocks, this is how the liquidity in rural area actually improves. Then comes functions of warehousing development and regulatory authority. So first of all is registration of the warehouse man and warehouses. So what is warehouse man? A person who operates the warehouse. Legal firm, legally authorized person who operates the warehouse operations. That person is warehouse man, and under whose name the license has been issued. So first part is registration of that person. So for registration, Aadhaar card, PAN card, and other mandatory documents are being taken. So identity, the identity of the firm, this all needs to be disclosed before WDRA. So they will register you. Then comes warehouse registration. If the warehouse man is registered, then his or her warehouses are also registered. So the capacity, the drawing plan, the location, the facilities available in those warehouses, the manpower, everything is to be documented and submitted to WDRA. And then based on that, an inspection is conducted by the agencies impaneled by WDRA, and after confirmation of all the conformities which are required under these rules, so the final registration is given to the warehouse. Then notification of rules and regulations under WDRA. So as and when with time the rules and regulations need to be modified with the changing scenario of the market and the economy. So they will have to change the rules and regulations with time. The mandate of warehouse WDRA is also to inspect the warehouses, their stock quantity and quality. They have inspecting officers impaneled with them. They actually send these inspecting officers at different interval of time. So prior to registration, during stock keeping, and some surprise visits. These are all part of inspection done by WDRA. Then licensing repositories and monitoring ENWR. WDRA has two repositories with it, NERL and CCRL. Repositories are actually for you students, just I would like to make it simple. They are the people who are providing electronic platform where the ENWR can be generated and traded and extinguished at later stage, which can be extinguished. So it is providing electronic platform for generation, trading and extinguishment of the ENWR. So there are two, NERL and CCRL, which are repositories working as of now. Then the mandate is to monitor the ENWR, all the receipts which are issued, electronic negotiable warehouse receipts. So these are to be monitored by WDRA. Many of you may not be aware of what is negotiable warehouse receipt. E stands for electronic actually. Negotiable warehouse receipts means this holds a value. A receipt holds a value. When a farmer deposits his stock in a warehouse, its valuation is mentioned in that receipt. The quantity of stock is mentioned in that receipt. So it holds a value. And this is negotiable. That means ki it can be passed upon one hand to another hand. That means it can be traded kind of thing. So it can be placed and traded. That is why it is called negotiable. So it has a value assigned to it. Then grievance redressal, capacity building and outreach programs. So these are main functions of WDRA. There must be some benefits associated with WDRA registration. Then only people will come to register. So if you get registered with WDRA, following facilities you get or the advantages. WDRA regulation helps to ensure scientific storage facilities. As I said, ki earlier also there were warehouses, but they were not following any standards. So, to make it formal, government has under an WDRA Act, this was WDRA was constituted, and actually the mandate is very clear that these were registered warehouses under WDRA will have basic infrastructure for scientific storage facilities. So it standardized the infrastructure available at the warehouses. Then comes ENWR requires to enter quality, grade details, promotes grading and standardization in the warehouse. Then comes earlier the traded commodities were not found to be comprising of the commitment made on the quality and quantity parts. So there were different kinds of frauds going on. So to check those things, ENWR system has been introduced and the warehouses registered with WDRA follow norms for assaying, that is quality checking, proper quality, proper weight management, proper supervision of the commodities stored in their warehouses, and the infrastructure should be suitable as per requirement. It has one more facility. It can be linked with ENAM. So agriculture markets, it can be linked with for trading farmers produce. So that is one benefit. Then comes ki it can be placed with banks. So ENWRs can be placed with banks. The repositories where these ENWRs are created, there farmers get an access as login credential, and the farmers are registered, the warehouse is registered, the warehouse man as well as the warehouse is registered, and the financial institutions, the banks, they also are registered on that repository platform, and ENWRs can be created and traded on those platforms, and it can be placed for finance in any of the banks. The mandate also provides WDRA to provide warehousing management and assaying trainings. So WDRA also conducts frequent trainings on assaying, that means quality, then storage and other things. So to promote more scientific warehousing culture in the country. Then WDRA inspects the stock periodically so that the stock is as per promises made in the ENWR. It is just a representation ki what actually happens. A farmer produces agri-produce that is deposited in WDRA registered warehouse. Warehouse man issues ENWR in depositor's repository account. ENWR is created, and this is actually placed to banks, and bank disburses loan against it. And there is one more facility that Kisan Upaj Nidhi has also been attached with it, linked with it. So KCC loans in their KCC accounts are also disbursed. So credit guarantee scheme has also been linked with WDRA, where farmers easily get 75 up to 75 lakhs rupee of loan against the stock stored. Credit facility against the stock stored, that is ENWR. So more benefits. E-negotiable warehouse receipt is a negotiable instrument backed by WDRA Act. Only WDRA registered warehouses can issue ENWR. So negotiable warehouse receipts can only be issued by WDRA warehouses. It cannot be issued by any non-WDRA registered warehouses. So the Act mandates this. ENWR indicates quality standard grades of the commodities stored in the warehouse. As I already said, ENWR is widely accepted by banks for place finances. Banks like SBI, PNB are offering concessional rate of interest and nil processing fee. Interest subvention is also available. So many benefits are being extended to the farmers. Self-help groups, farmer produce organizations, they get different benefits from the banks. The ENWR is integrated with the ENAM, as I told earlier, so it can be traded quickly, and the farmer will get better pricing for his produce. So that way, this ENWR helps in avoiding distress sale of the farmer's produce by providing farmers timely place finance. As you must be aware that for 4 or 5 months, the farmer is putting hard-earned money as well as their efforts in the field, and by the time the crop is ready, they are in dire need of money. So what do? They try to sell it at whatsoever price they get, but that is the time when there is abundance of and flooding of new crop, so rates go down drastically, so farmer do not get benefited. So in that case, what these farmers can do, instead of selling at throwaway prices, they can keep their produce in a warehouse registered with WDRA, and against that stock, ENWR will be generated, and against that ENWR, they can get easy finances by placing the ENWR from any of the nationalized banks, cooperative banks, everywhere this facility is available. So we have already talked about the benefits of registration of warehouses and the ENWR. Now, a basic information will be provided on what are the registration requirements. So for a warehouse to be registered with WDRA, comprehensive insurance coverage is to be taken, because if any untoward incidents happens, then there should not be risk to the farmer or the depositor who has deposited his stock. There should not be any loss of quality or quantity to him. Then adhere to all local laws where warehouses are located. So any warehouse which is constructed and wants to get registered with WDRA, they have to adhere with all the local laws. And these warehouses need to have assaying equipments and person responsible for that. That means ki a technical person should be there who is capable of providing the quality parameters assessment at the warehouse, and upkeep of the stock also is maintained. So one quality person need to be there and all the equipments required should be in place. And these warehouses should be constructed as per norms. These norms actually, as per WDRA, they have said that this can be Bureau of Indian Standards, BIS, CWC norms, or FCI norms. All these norms are acceptable. To a greater extent, all these norms are similar kind only. A warehouse should have minimum 61 centimeter uh, plinth height actually. So this plinth height is height of the platform of the godown. So when you enter a warehouse in a godown, then you find that it has a height platform. The platform is at height. Actually, this 61 centimeter high has a purpose linked to it, because rodents, these rats, mouse, these are actually they cannot jump above this 61 centimeter. So that is why this 61 centimeter has been kept. And small insects also, they are not able to climb above 61 centimeter. And these platforms are made not they are made in a curvature where they find it difficult to move on to the godowns. Then the warehouse should have firefighting equipments. Then security guards should be deployed, and it is required that the warehouse should have boundary wall or barbed wire fencing at least to check illegal entry by humans or even animals. We have already talked about the benefits, then the requirements, what are the necessities which has been assigned for registration of the warehouse. Now we will talk about the investors who are actually into business of private warehousing in case of agricultural goods. Then how can they make money out of this? So this accredited warehouses have multiple scope of making money. So one is the storage charges, because they are into renting of the warehousing space. So they will get the storage charges. That can be on bag basis, that can be on area basis, anything. Then comes assigning parameters. You can charge for the quality preservation, quality checking, preservation, then other activities, sorting, grading can be carried out in the same warehouse. As you know, this adds value to the commodity, then you can have your share also. If you are a private warehouse owner and you are providing these facilities, then you can have your revenue source in this also if you provide these facilities. Then these registered warehouses with WDRA can act as a financing hub. These are the nodal points facilitating bank placed loans against ENWRs, reducing risk and increasing asset valuation. So around this also, these financial institutes actually provide some commission to people who provide these place financing businesses to them. So financial institutions are ready to share a portion of their income. So their income is actually the interest. So a portion can be shared with you. These financial institutions can share a portion of their profit with you. So that is one model. When the stock is kept in your warehouse, then you can help that farmer in selling that stock locally or somewhere else. So you can earn some commission on that also. Since the stock is in your premises, you can help the farmer while selling the stock transportation or handling manpower or equipment you can provide, and you can earn some revenue out of that also. So there are different aspects how you can make money if your warehouse is registered with WDRA. The place financing, that is financing of ENWR, has actually seen growth year on year, as you can see the curve. Then comes the infrastructure and physical standards, because ensuring safety, science, and structural integrity is must. That is why people will have and show faith on you or the WDRA registered warehouses. So already said that location and structural integrity inside the warehouse, as I said, the exterior also warehouse must be located with safe access routes. So approach routes should be there. Then uh, this road should be capable of handling heavy trucks actually, and the transactions should not be hampered. This you have to take care of, and a weighbridge is to be a weighbridge facility should be there for big warehouses, and if not, small warehouses can have platform scale facility as well. That will be sufficient because payment is necessary. Uh, Then comes structural norms, as I already told you. You can have BIS, CWC, FCI specifications warehouses, the and rodent-proof planes, completely leak-proof roofings, and ventilation facility should be there. The warehouses which are actually registered with WDRA, the minimum is 100 metric ton, and because below 100 metric ton, it is very difficult to scientifically manage any warehouse as such. It will be more like a store kind of thing. So a very small unit with limitations to handle and store the stock scientifically. So minimum is 100 metric ton go down, which is required to, and it can go to any metric ton above that. Proper layout should be there, proper permissions of the state governments and the local bodies should be there. Safety and security is of utmost importance. Fire safety is there, physical security should be there, monitoring 24 into 7 should be there. Then strong boundary wall, barbed wire fencing, this kind of things can be there to secure the premises. Securing the premises actually secures the stock kept inside the premises. The stock stored or the kept inside the warehouse. These equipment should be there. Weighbridge should be there, or in absence of weighbridge, platform scale can be used. Assaying equipment should be there. In case of any food grain, moisture is to be checked whenever receipt operation is there. Then the grading is done, and finally, under storage, periodical check of the moisture quality is done. Then, if required, infestation is there, spraying with pesticide is done. Fumigation covers are used with fumigants. ALP is one of that fumigant. So they are also used to check the growth of infestation in the agri produce. Then prophylactic treatments should be done periodically. That means even if there is no infestation, you have to do prophylactic treatment to check their growth. In future, they should not be there. So different parameters we have discussed. Then online registration process is simple. Applicants create actually on the WDRA portal, they create a user ID, and as a warehouse man they get registered first, then they can apply for the warehouses. And when they apply for the warehouse registration, they have to provide all the details of the infrastructure, as I told you. Then the required documents are to be uploaded. Fees is to be paid. Registration earlier for many years there was no registration fees to encourage people come in this formal channel. Actually register their warehouses with WDRA. So for long time there was no registration fees. And for packs, FPOs, self-help groups, there is very nominal fees. Then, once you apply, physical inspection will be done by the impaneled inspection agency. To safeguard the interest of the depositors, the warehouse man should have proper net worth, that is positive net worth. Solvency should be there against deposit of stock. They should have credit worthiness of certain amount. Then security deposit is to be also submitted. That uh, which is minimum 50,000 rupees for FPOs, self-help groups, cooperatives. This is 50,000 rupees. Your warehouse should be constructed on your own land, or you can have leased land as well. So if you construct a warehouse on your own land or a leased land, so the lease deed should be minimum 3 years of tenure, so that WDRA can give you the accreditation. Else they will not provide you if it is pending for less than 3 years. Personal KYC, as I told you, warehouse man will have their his or her personal KYC verified. His authorized representative, if he is into that operation, his personal KYC is to be verified. Technical documents are there, availability of all the layout plans, then the equipments available in the warehouse, everything. SOP, a standard operating procedure, is to be followed in the warehouse. You cannot have a monopolistic kind of way that whenever I want, I will receive the stock. Whenever I want, I will do the treatment on the stock kept in the warehouse. No. Either you have to follow a given SOP which is attached at the WDRA registration website, or any SOP which is stringent than that, not below that. So quality is maintained. That is the motto. Insurance is mandatory in WDRA registered warehouses. So unforeseen circumstances like fire, flood, theft, burglary, riots, strikes, and terrorism kind of things, this should always be covered under that insurance. So the depositor should not be uh, sufferer in case of this kind of incidents happen at the warehouse. The warehouse man cannot just run away saying ki, it was not under my control. So if it is not under your control, take a insurance of the risks which you assess there. So the standard operating procedures actually takes into account the inward process, that is gate entry, precise weighment, sampling, quality checks, and systematic stacking of the commodities. Then stacking protocols are there, stack cards are there to record the transactions and proper upkeep of the stock during receipt time. So if you understand the agri produce well, then you would be agreeing that quality is of paramount importance, because the monetary value of any agri produce is based on the quality of the stock. So while taking receipt operation, during receipt operation, taking the receipt operation into consideration, the quality should be checked and duly signed. Mutually agreed quality should be received. And all the quality parameters are already given on WDRA websites. So we say it assigned parameters. Everything is there. Any wheat, say for example, wheat above or rice above 15% moisture should not be taken. Wheat above 14% moisture may not be taken. So these are all the quality parameters, assaying parameters available there. And percentage of outside foreign matters, organic, inorganic, the broken parts, the infested parts. These are all the things which we actually see when receiving any agri produce. The size of the quality, size, everything which we see it. So as I told you, there are two repositories, NERL and CCRL. Through this ENWR, which is fully digital, transferable, and placeable financial instrument, this is created. So if you have any problem in understanding these things, you can ask me later on. The benefit is that this ENWR is actually permanently prevents doubling financing fraud, making it highly trusted by banking institutions. So bankers are also very, very happy to find the ENWR financing, and the frauds have actually come down. So WDRA actually checks the stock at different level, as I told you. Pre-registration checks are there, exhaustive verification of infrastructure and legal paperwork before approval. So only a legally valid entity will get WDRA registration, not any fraud company at initial stage. And the godown infrastructure will meet the minimum standard required under this act. Then annual surveillances are there, so that routine inspections which I am talking about, surprise audits are there, then reconciliation is there. In case there is mismatch in the stock, then a committee from WDRA goes there and stock reconciliation is done in presence of depositor, the warehouse man, and if the stock has been financed, then they can also be there. So stock reconciliation can be done. All the risks which are there in warehousing industry, stock storage, these have been mitigated. So by one or other methods, quantity mismatch, mandatory Weber's calibration, and rigorous annual stock audits. So this actually take care of the quantity mismatch risk which may happen. Then quality deterioration, strict scientific storage guidelines are there, aeration and skilled assayers. These are the quality persons are deployed there. All the equipments are there. This we insure. That means WDRA insures. Theft, fire, damage, any kind of insurance risks which we know. So insurance is taken to take care of insurance-based risks. WDRA takes security deposit in form of bank guarantees, as I told you, to check the risks associated in this business. And these ENWRs are actually generated on an electronic platform using this blockchain method. So duplication is not possible, and fraud is actually checked. So this is what WDRA is all about.